Hello and welcome to the Layers podcast. I'm your host Tayo and I'm so happy to have you join us today. The heart behind the Layers network and podcast is to see people grow. So each conversation we have is designed to have something in there just for you. And I hope that that very thing that you take away equips and empowers you to broaden your thinking, your network, and your personal influence. So whether you're at home, in the car, or on your daily commute, relax and enjoy the conversation. Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome back. Today in the guest seat, I have my friend Sade, aka In My Sunday's Best. Wait, is it My Sunday's Best or My Sunday Best?
In My Sunday Best.
My Sunday Best, Sade, Street Fighter, Elegant Queen.
Get out.
Welcome, Sade. It's so good to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, girl. So tell us about yourself. Tell us what you do in life when you're not fighting racists online.
Please, I don't do that. I don't do that all the time. Maybe just like 50% of the time. I am a full-time almost architect. I run a blog over at www.inmysundaybest.com, and I'm like I hate the word influencer, but I guess I am an online influencer as well in my free time. And then I also like to fight racists,
in my spare time.
In my spare time, it brings me joy.
So how long have you been blogging, vlogging, content creating?
I think it's been actually 10 years this year.
Oh,
so
wow.
I think I started in 2010, sorry. So yeah, about 10 years.
Wow.
Just makes me feel old.
You're not old. Stop it. I know how old you are. Stop it right there. So you're blogging, vlogging, you're Instagram influencer, and is that your day job?
Do you know what? It's weird because it's a full-time job, but it's not my day job.
Course.
Yeah, so it's like a full-time job, basically.
Wow.
I'm a mad person.
I love that. What's your favorite thing to write about, blog about, vlog about?
Do you know what? I would say probably my favorite. Well, not my favorite, but the thing that I guess gets people clicking and gets people talking is just writing about life. So I think writing about life I'm late 20s Black woman living in London and just working and just making her way through life. So I think those types of posts are what people kind of get, or what gets people engaged because they can relate, I suppose. So I think I just like writing about life, really.
Yeah. Actually, I'm going to come back to the posts that get people engaged, but why did you start in the first place? Because if you started 10 years ago, it's very different to now, where I think quite a lot of people start because they want to make money, they want to be known, and they want some sort of influence. But you started in a very different time where it wasn't really like this.
I think when I started my blog, back in the day, blogs weren't what they were now. They were kind of a bit ugly, not very nice, very messy, and it was more so just very loose. So I started to document when I moved to uni. So when did 2010. I started uni and I didn't really know what I was doing. I was in a city that I was very uncomfortable being in. This is my first time living in London, and I kind of just wanted to document art, and because I came from a fine art background, going into architecture, I wanted to document art, photography, just everything I saw around me in this new city, which was Lincoln, in the Midlands, and that's how it started.
So an outlet, basically.
Yeah,
that's good. Does it still serve as an outlet in some ways now?
Yeah, so it's a mixture. So I guess the blog itself still stays as an outlet because I don't really do very much paid work on there. And then Instagram is a mixture of paid work, just photography, writing,
Yeah.
creativity, a bit of everything, really.
Yeah. You have a very diverse range of content.
Thanks.
Goes from humorous to stylish to real and just, it's good work. It's hard work. I
Thanks.
feel like I was saying to a friend of mine, everybody should stop calling influencers influencers and start calling them content creators because there's a lot of consumption that people do on Instagram and the back work to get
Yeah.
everything out is very is it's not easy.
No, I think people think you just take a picture. They're like, oh yeah, like you work with all these brands. It must be you just take a picture and that's
Mm,
it. And I'm like, no, 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 no. There's like
no.
loads of like dates and everything, and they have to approve stuff, and it's
Yeah.
like reshoots and back and forth, and yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah. Especially when you have like a fit, like I find sometimes with layers, I have something finished and then I look at it before I'm about to post, I'm like, absolutely not. And then it just
Yep.
goes back into editing again. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, it's never like, I feel like even when people are like, schedule your post like 2 weeks in advance, I'm like, but then 2 weeks later, I've seen this thing over and over again, and now I have a problem with it now.
Yeah,
You
you
know,
hate it.
you hate it because you've looked at it so much.
And like, this cannot go. I need to go back, change everything, re-edit, put it back up again. Yeah, it's work. It's work.
It's not easy. How are
Mm.
you balancing all of this?
Do you know what? Whenever people ask me this question, I always tell them, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I am not balancing it. And people are like, how do you do it? I'm like, look, this I would not advise. Like, seriously, I'm just like this. I'm only doing like this amount of work right now for a very temporary time. This is very
Yeah.
temporary for me. And even now, like, I'm even having to take a break within this because I was just like, this is like trying to work full time, like Monday to Friday, 9 till 6, and
Hmm.
then finishing work and then opening my laptop again to
Oh my
continue,
gosh.
and then opening my laptop on the weekend or going out to take pictures and just having like my WhatsApp is always like ding 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 because of brands.
Yeah.
I was just like, this is not, I'm not balancing it.
It's very
Like honestly, I
overwhelming.
think it's yeah, I don't think it's possible to balance it either. I think
Mm.
it's just not possible. Yeah, it's not possible
Yeah,
to balance.
to balance it
Yeah.
all. What about boundaries?
I'm not too sure. How about one sec? In terms of boundaries, I think it's something that's super important. I think it's something that I lack. Honestly, I think I'm not very good
Mm,
at throwing up and being like, look, I can't do this. I think sometimes, especially with like opportunities, and I guess this is with full-time work and with blogging and in general, I'm like, okay, this is a
mm,
great opportunity. I'm going to say yes.
yeah.
And I'm not thinking about the work that's going to go into it. I'm not thinking about like my mental health. I'm not thinking about all the other
Mm,
stuff that goes. I'm just like, this is great. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be good. And
yeah.
then trying to fit it in, I'm just like, this is a
Uh,
mistake. This is not good. I didn't respect my. This is not healthy.
yeah.
Yeah,
You know what's
I'm not
funny?
respecting my own.
I remember I went for an interview one time and the lady was like, oh, one of those annoying questions where she was like, well, what's your weakness? And I remember thinking, I feel like when I prepared for that interview, I had my weakness. And when I got in, maybe because of her demeanor and everything, I just didn't feel like I should say I had a weakness. I mean, I was still
Mm.
going to, but it was just very awkward. And then she was like, oh, what's your weakness? And I was like, oh, I don't remember what I said. I said something. And she was like, she was like, but what if a senior manager asks you to do this? And at the same time, a director asks you to do this? Then what are you going to do? And I was kind of fumbling about. I was like, I don't know, prioritize whichever one. And she was like, no, correct. She was like, no, the correct answer is you need to tell whoever's giving you the piece of work what you have going on, when you
Mm-hmm.
think you'll be able to do it, just so that everyone is kept in the loop and no one feels like no one is gets disappointed because they already know what you had going
Mm.
on. And when she said that, when I left, I was like, that's actually really good advice. Like she was a bit annoying about it, but I was like, that was that was still really good advice because it's true. So when you were
Yeah.
saying like with boundaries and like, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna take this on, it's kind of like actually I should be honest with you, hey, I have a lot of people I'm working with now. This is like my working timeline because they're coming
Mm-hmm.
to you at the end of the day sometimes. So it's
Yeah.
like, you can give them a working timeline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's exactly it. You have to be like, look, I am doing like it got to a point where I was like, okay, I'm literally doing back-to-back ads, which is great. This is what people would pray for. Amazing, great. But I literally had to tell people, I was like, okay, as you said, like, what are your timelines? What are your expectations? Because I always tell people straight up, I'm like, I work full-time. So please do not. So I had to tell off a brand this week for messaging me constantly on WhatsApp. And I was like, I work full time. You are messaging me at 7 a.m. I already told you my working hours are from 6 p.m. with you guys, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Yeah.
Monday to Friday. If I don't get back to you within, I think I even have like an out of office kind of thing set up that I'm like, I'll get back to you in 48 hours if I can. Because I've just realized people do not, when you say you work full time outside of blogging, I don't think they really compute. So I always tell them, imagine you having this full-time job you have now, plus another full-time job. How does that? So stop. So just making sure people realize that you cannot be on like their beck and call 24/7. You, especially with, I don't know what it is with, like, my normal full-time job is a lot less stressful, weirdly enough, than my influencer job. Like, my normal full-time job is great. I manage my own timelines. I manage my own expectations with clients. My colleagues are great, but the influencer one is so up and down because of, I guess it's a very fast moving industry, and with COVID as well, things are very up and down. So people are just very antsy. So they want everything immediately. They want answers immediately. And you just have to be like, look, stop DMing me. Just take it back to email and I'll get back to you when I can. Simple as.
Were you always this bold? Because I feel like when we were talking about how sometimes it's a big opportunity, did you find that when you started you're like, or like, obviously as you've gotten more comfortable, more confident, and not every check is a check you must get, that you're just like, actually stop disturbing me?
Yeah, I think I remember, do you know what, it takes for you to get like bad deals through. So there'll be deals where you're like, okay, this sounds amazing, this brand sounds great, and then you actually do the work and you're like, I really don't like the way they're directing me, like you came to me, so therefore I expect to be able to do my work without you disturbing me. And even like I've still got one that's been hanging on for like the last 2 months that I've been battling with, which sounded like a good deal. They were really keen to work with me. I mean, I told them no, like I'm not too sure, but they were like, no, we really, really want to work with you. I gave in against my own instinct, I suppose. And now we've just been going back and forth because they're like, we don't really like the style of this. And I'm like, well, you came to me. This is my style.
I was going to say, you kind of have like an aesthetic that it's like, but
exactly. But they're like, we want it very plain. And I'm kind of like, well, that's not me. So do you know what? Listening to your gut is so important. So I remember listening to I remember just being like, it's an okay deal. It was like a good deal. I was like, I mean, good pay. I was like, it's good. I should just do it. But deep down, I was like, do I really? When you're just like, do I want to do it? Is it? I don't. It's just okay. It's not amazing.
Yeah.
And I think even with some brands where I've been like, this is an amazing deal. This brand is like a dream brand. And then what happens is I'm like, okay, what's the brief? What are the deliverables? Who is the person I'm going to be working with? And then I start talking to them and I'm like, yeah, we're not, this is not going to work. And I've had to turn down like some, like what people would see on the outside as amazing brands, but they're not even the brand's ethic, because it's mostly the agency that is working for the brand.
Right.
What is going on in the background is not, I don't know, it goes against stuff that I hold dear and that I believe in. So I'm just like, well, I can't work with you. And I love the brand, but I don't like how you're running this. And I just don't think it doesn't make sense to me. There's no diversity in it. It's just a bit of a mess. Yeah. Like, when you're just like, this is not right. So there have been loads I've had to turn down, sadly.
Yeah, it's good. It's good that you have principle and you have, like you were saying before, that you feel like you don't really have good boundaries to them. But I think that's a boundary, like to be able to turn down like an opportunity where like, this is a great brand, but actually you don't, what you're doing right now, the way you're behaving right now. Is there like an example you can give without mentioning a brand name or like trying to keep it still cute?
There's one that kind of went a little bit viral, and it wasn't even just like for me. It was because they they were asking a lot of people to do work that is unpaid, basically, and they're a designer brand, a very high, like when I say designer, I mean as in top, like as in luxury designer. When I worked with them, I demanded payment, so I got paid, but I don't know, it was released basically. I guess they were at their old tricks again, and they tried it again for another batch of people, and it got released.
Yeah.
And it went viral. And they like, I felt really bad, but they got dragged. Them and the agency, they got dragged
Oh my
all the way
God.
online. People were like all over their accounts commenting, being like, "How can you do this?" And then the agency actually came back and they made it worse by saying, "Yeah, we only pay influencers of a certain number, and if you're below that number, we wouldn't pay you. We expect to just gift you," which made it even
What?
worse. And I was
That
just
is
like,
so ridiculous.
Imagine. I was like, this makes it 10 times worse. But yeah, something like that, which is something I really don't stand for. I'm like, if you're going to pay people, you pay everyone. It doesn't matter what number. Like, if you need work, you need work. It doesn't mean, like, why should anyone work for free? I'm always telling people, do you go to work for free?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't make sense.
Do you know what's funny? I feel like there is somehow this sort of disrespect for influencers. People still feel like, why should I have to pay you to post a picture of something? Which is actually such a backward way to think, because influencers are doing so much for brands that their traditional advertising was not necessarily doing. Like, it was working, it was doing well. Like, you know, having like been in advertising and that sort of industries, like they work, the ads on TV, digital ads, everything, they work. But I remember when I first started watching Jackie Aina, and I think there was like a product, it was like an Urban Decay velvetizer. And I was like, oh, what's that? And I really like watched the video and I was like, I need this product. And I never ended up getting it because I kept putting it off. But I would have never known about that product. And if I'd seen it, you know, there's some things you see, like when you go to Lancome, you try the makeup and there's some other products there that no one ever really touches. Yeah, it's kind of like a lot of brands have those products. So it's so backward for that brand, whoever they were. And it's just backward in general that people don't want to pay influencers, because it's because of them that people will want to buy the product and they can see how it's being used.
Yeah, and I see that like a lot of brands, or a lot of this, I guess this is another thing that really grinds my gears, is that, for example, with that brand that I spoke about before, I noticed that when they were targeting people, they were targeting a lot of Black influencers. And I was like, and I remember even DMing someone who's now my friend. We became friends because of it. I DM'd her and I was like, hey, I just saw that you did this campaign. Did you ask for payment? Because they paid me. And she was like, wait, no, they told me they didn't have any budget. And I was like, girl, go and ask for your money.
You literally stirred that pot.
Yeah, I was like, go and ask for your money because this is ridiculous. I was like, what do you mean? Like, why are you hiring loads of Black influencers and not paying them? I really don't like that.
I think it was Aisha Harun. I don't remember her last name. I think it's Harun. I may not get it wrong. Anyways, Aisha, she it's so interesting because over the time I've been watching a lot of her videos. She had been using a lot of Caudalie products and promoting a lot of Caudalie products. I think I even started you know, there's some brands, like as a Black person, you look at it and you're like, this is for a white person, this is not for me. Yep. Because they don't market. You can almost tell that you're not a target audience for them. Yeah. And I always felt that way about Caudalie. Like, it's like L'Occitane. I just ignore them because I'm like, this is for white people. Yeah. And then I saw her using Caudalie and I was like, oh, okay. And then a friend got it from me for Christmas. I was like, oh, okay. And it was the products were actually nice. And then she actually flew to like France and stuff. Like, she had a vlog where she flew to France and stuff. Do you know this whole time they were not paying Homegirl?
Oh no! Why?
Yeah, she was send them presentations. I don't know if she's taking the YouTube video down, but the owner of Caudalie actually ended up apologizing and like having a conversation with her, whatever, during at the height of BLM rather. And I just thought that's so weird because I think if I'm not getting it, I might be getting it wrong, but I think that she was in the video being like, they were always saying they didn't have a budget for her, but there were white influencers who were getting paid. Always.
So wild. The case. They always say we don't have budget, and then I like go back. I'm like, okay, what? Let me try and find the hashtags that they used last in like a last paid type of project.
Yeah.
Like a very big electronics brand reached out to me a couple of weeks ago, and they were like, hey, like, can we work with you for one whole year? I was like, okay, great, that sounds amazing. So, like, one whole year, you won't be able to use any competitors' products, which is
Oh my gosh.
difficult because all of my electronics, my phone and laptop are all the competitor products.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, do you know what? What's the budget then? Because I was like, if that's a healthy budget, then sign
I'm
me
gonna
up.
throw this phone
Because,
away.
right, I was like, I'll throw this iPhone away. I need a new laptop anyway. And they were like, yeah, so you'll have to use our phone, our laptop, all of our stuff, our
Yeah,
smartwatch,
what's the
whatever.
budget?
They said they don't have budgets. I said, well, I've gone through your hashtags and there are people that have less followers than me, less engagement, and are getting paid. And they're like, well, we've used up the budget. And I was like, well,
Please go away. Stop it.
then I was
Stop
like,
it
well,
now.
you can't use me. It's not like, so you want me to stop using my phone for nothing? It doesn't add up. And people are like, you should just be grateful for the free items. And I'm
Oh
like,
my gosh. No.
free items will not pay my bills. Free items will not pay my rent. We are in a pandemic and we are in a recession. Please give me
Like
money.
the actual audacity of it all.
Yeah.
So ridiculous. Okay, let's I actually want to talk about being black in the influencer world a little bit further, but so you have an ad. So for example, Aisha's story and your story, and seeing kind of like influencers who are not black, because I feel like it's not necessarily always like in terms of racism, it's not always a black or white thing. Like I feel like even the term, like I saw a lot of people, myself included, during this time period being like, let's abandon this POC thing, because within that POC title there are other non-white races who are aggressively racist towards black people.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Like we all know who and what that is. So what's it like comparison culture? Not just comparison culture with your brands and how you're getting paid, but also how you look, how you feel in comparison to them. Is there, because there is a certain look that is trending, and how you navigate yourself in that space?
I think so. I mean, I've had these discussions at length with my like fellow black influencer friends, and if you're a black female influencer, if you want to get bank and hit those numbers, then if you look a particular way, and by a particular way I mean, and there's nothing against this, but I mean, if you have the weave, really big boobs, preferably done, as in your titties need to be like rock solid, high, your body needs to be tight, sitting up, staying pretty, body shining, like bodycon dress, heels, glam, eyelashes, then you'll go really far, because that is like what is in. If you are kind of just like, I don't know, like the everyday black girl like me, I guess it depends on your
not
content.
An everyday black girl. You literally chat so much shit. I can't take it.
Me and my grandma dresses.
There's only been one, and the one that we were all like, this is trash.
Misguided are not going to fly me out with those dresses, please. They said, give us some booby or some butt. But I guess if you don't fit into that, you kind of, it's going to sound really, really weird, and it's going to sound absolutely crazy and very unexpected, but if you don't fit into that, then your audience, honestly, is actually quite white. Like my audience, I think.
Really? That's so interesting.
It's really weird. When I went to check, I think a solid number of my followers are women that are my age, but they are white.
You know what? I see that,
for some reason.
And I see that and I actually understand it, but I feel like even when you say they're white, I feel like it's a certain type of white woman, in the same way that I actually think it's a certain type of black woman that follows you as well.
Yes, it's
I completely get it.
I have I don't know, they're usually white women who are not I was going to say trying to be woke, but the white women that usually have black friends.
They're going to be listening to your podcast, you goats.
No, I love them for it because they're always asking questions. But
your followers are great.
It's usually people that want to learn, which I really love. So I'm like, I hope you're not here just for the aesthetics because
It's a conscious
we,
influence up in her.
yeah, I'm like, you need to learn as well. We need to talk about racism, some
But I like
unconscious
your influencers
bias.
because they always seem like you and Yossi's influencers always seem like they're asking you like they're actually engaging in race conversations. Like my friend was telling me that she was telling me that at the beginning, like at the start of like the pickup of BLM in like I think it was May or April, end of April, May. She was like she posted on her Instagram and she was like, if you don't care about Black Lives Matter and you don't think Black Lives Matter are valuable, Black lives are valuable, then you need to unfollow me. And she was like, three people are following her. She was like, excuse me.
Oh my God. I mean, I
And
don't know
these are
how people
people
are
that she
following me.
knew. Yeah, you
Right?
said you did too. But I
I
felt like you
mean,
had more people that were genuinely curious. Like when I was seeing your Q&A,
yeah,
people were genuinely curious. So your followers are, but this is what I mean. It's a certain type of person that I think follow.
yeah. Yeah, I think, and I'm actually okay with that. I think there was a time where it was like, I want to be like the glam black girls. I want to be getting flued out by
So by
Boohoo and
both.
Misguided. And that's just like, do you know what? That's okay. Me and my fupa, we're not made for that. It's okay. And I think for a long time, I was just like, I'm never going to hit these numbers because I literally was like, even if I tried, I cannot look like these girls. They
Yeah.
are beautiful, they're fine, they're sexy, and it's okay. I don't have to be like that. I
So
think,
are you. I think beauty is so the Instagram beauty is so like it's
ah,
kind of like it's so limited. Like I feel like
mhm,
the sad thing is that's what we look at. Like I think it was like I think I was watching Mad Men, and one of the guys was like, you need to make these women beautiful so that the men want to get with them and the girls want to look
mm,
like them. And
mm,
I feel like beats sexy Instagram girls. It's like the men want to get with them and the girls want to look like them, but
yeah,
they only want to look at them because that's like on Instagram everybody's giving their best. They're giving their
mm,
best and they're polished. Like even if it's that's the one picture out of 700 pictures that you took that day, it's like that was your best. So you're giving me your constant best.
mhm.
And in real life, nobody is like that.
Nope. Like, I mean, even the other day, there was actually an influencer which I really loved. She was really honest about how badly her BBL went, and it went viral.
Oh, I think I
And
saw that picture.
yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't read it.
I was shocked. Because no one really talks about that side. Everyone's just like, and it sounds horrible, but I mean, even on Instagram, sometimes I'll be scrolling and I'll be looking at these plastic surgery pages, and I'm like, just a little, and I'm just like, wait.
This
Since
is
when did I think that just a little nip tuck is normal? It's
mm.
not. I was just the other day I was like, if I had money, would I fly to Turkey just to get it? And then I was just like, no, because but yeah, like her being really open and being like, look, you think that you need to look like this and you think that like everyone goes to get the surgery and it's all perfect. She's like, look, I have to go and get revision now and pay God knows how much because this
It's
thing has
so
messed my
scary.
body up. And she's young.
Yeah,
I
it's
kind
so
of,
scary.
yeah,
You
it's
know,
it's very dangerous.
for people listening in who aren't familiar with BBL, it's just a Brazilian butt lift. I don't think it always includes a fat transfer, but
Yeah.
it's literally just making your bum bigger, higher, firmer,
Hmm.
fuller, and most times your waist and your stomach smaller.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's funny because I was saying, like, even what you were saying about maybe you want to be like those girls being flown out to like Boohoo and Misguided. Like, I think, like I was saying to my friend a couple of days ago, I was like, I almost feel like Instagram is becoming like unhealthy for me. Like, I could
Mm,
be having a great day. And you know what? Well, let's say, because I feel like as a woman,
mm,
I heard this message one time, and this lady was like, your your sense of worth and value as a woman is always going to be a battleground. It's always going to
mm.
be a place where you're going to have to battle.
Yeah.
And I could wake up in the morning, I could feel really, really great. I could take a shower and be like, I'm going to be my friend. And I could put on a dress and I'm just like, I just hate this. I hate the way this
Mm.
looks. I hate the way my body looks. And let's say you find something that you like and you feel good. You're on your way to the event, you're sitting down on the train, you open up Instagram. What you seeing? Thin
Yep.
waist, nice arms, you know, big bum, everything. I just can't. And it's not even just that, it's the reaction that it gets that you're not getting because you don't look
Yeah.
like that. So how do you, where did you get to, or what point was it where you were just like, you know what, I'm who I am and I'm beautiful, and not in an inauthentic way.
Mm. I think, do you know what, like, I still battle with it. I mean, like, as you said, every woman will battle with it, and I just have to like, literally, it's God that will just have to reaffirm
Yeah.
and remind me, like, that He loves me regardless of my, like, the way I look is nothing.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I just curated, like, the people I follow. I follow people of all sizes, but especially for style, I make sure that I follow people that are like size 12, size 14, even bigger. Like, I'm very much like, okay, do you know what? Realistically, I'm looking at all these, like, why am I like, before, I remember there was a point where I'm following like skinny 21-year-olds. I'm like, look, I'm only getting older. I'm going towards
I
30.
actually remember this phase.
But like, my body is built differently. Like,
Yeah.
like, I'm older. My boobs are gonna sag a little bit more. My belly is gonna get a bit bigger. My thigh is gonna get a bit bigger, and it's completely normal. I think really curating your feed to people that inspire you and are normal, and not to say that the women that have had work and all of that are not normal, but what, like, realistically, like, think about what makes you happy. And again, the thing with boundaries, like, be aware of what makes you happy and what makes you unhappy. I'm like, I know if I follow people
100%.
that look like who have just had their bodies done fresh, like, if I follow like loads of Cardi B's who their bodies are tight, then I'll start to feel crazy because I'm like looking at this all the time. So following normal, like, normal everyday people who look like me has been really helpful. And I think for me,
good advice.
Yeah, I suppose I'm very hell bent with my influencer space, I suppose, on it reflecting just me and it being completely normal. And so when people are like, like, your life is so interesting, like, you do all of these stuff, I'm very much like, I'm open and honest, and I'll be like, actually, this is going on in the background. This is also happening. This is also happening. Please, guys, do not be fooled by these pretty pictures. I'm not living this influencer high life where I'm having a Chanel bag and I'm living lavish. I'm like, I'm just working 24/7. And I think it's really important to be honest about what goes on behind the gram, because I think sometimes you can, not to say that you're leading people astray, but I just don't want anyone to ever think, I really want to live her life. I'm so jealous. Because I'm just like, look, the grass is always greener on the other side.
Oh, of course, yeah.
You don't know what's going on in the background.
That's the thought process. It's so true. It's really, really so true. Have you felt a push to be perfect in some ways? And that's not necessarily in the influencer world, maybe even your personal life.
I'd say yes. I think I am a Virgo through and through. So for me, like, I don't want to say I love because I'm trying to get out of it. It's me and God, it's a work in progress. But I have always liked things being a certain way. I like stability. I like patterns. I like doing things over and over again until they're like perfect. In
so
quotation
COVID
marks.
must have messed you up then.
Where COVID has finished me because this lack of stability.
And direction, everything is a whole mess.
Unhappy with COVID. COVID has messed my whole year up because I've never hated anything more because the lack of stability, I cannot take it. I've actually gone crazy. And do you know what's happened? Actually, most people at work as well have people have really been struggling. And I didn't think that would happen. Like, my colleagues have really been struggling. Like, people are going back to the office just to feel something. They're trekking into the office. They would rather go to the office, pay their money, and go to the office just to feel something different.
I completely get it. Because you feel trapped. You almost feel like you're losing your mind.
Exactly. Like, the same reason why I've been going to the office occasionally, even though I'm not supposed to, because I just need something different instead of just sitting at my desk, not really feeling there, if that makes sense. Like, there's no separation between working at home and living, and I really dislike that whole thing. Like, for me, messes up my perfectionism. I'm like, no, I like to have like a place to work, a place to sleep, a place to relax. But I think for me, I've always wanted things to be the way I want them, and I guess for me that would be a bit of perfectionism. I think within blogging, I tried that. and it just doesn't work
No.
because I guess my style of creating is just very loose and very lifelike. So it can't be perfect, and I think that's fine. And I think with blogging, I've learned to accept it. With work itself, like my full-time job, I am a huge work in progress, and I'm trying really hard to let go of perfection and let go of things always being right. And I think for me, the weirdly enough, the bit that's helped it is moving more into management because it means that I'm having to tell people, hey, it's okay to make mistakes, and I'm
I
having
see.
to lead by example now.
I see.
So that has really helped. Because I'm having to tell my colleagues like, hey, like who are like, oh my God, I made a big mistake on this work. I'm so sorry. And I'm like, no, that's fine. You're human. You'll make mistakes. Like just learn from it. So yeah, I think I'm getting better.
So you're learning from your own advice.
I'm learning slowly from my own advice. My CEO would still argue that I need a little bit more work and I need to stop taking clients being mean to me so personally because it's not a big deal, but I'm just like, yeah, it's a work in progress. I think it's something that, as you said before, we'll always battle. I think especially as Black women in the working world, I think there is this like, we just want to be perfect because we know there's so much at stake for us.
Yeah. You know, I actually saw a statistic. Oh no, I didn't see it. Someone actually told me that it takes a white colleague 0 to 3 months to settle into the workplace. It takes a Black colleague 6 to 12 months to settle into a workplace. But that's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true.
To be fair, I see that. Like I would say like in the job that I'm in now, it definitely took me towards the year mark to feel settled and feel completely open and be very open with everyone.
Yeah. Because you don't really know how you're going to be perceived or like what you're going to say. Like I remember when I was working at CNN and there was this guy, I think I just asked, oh, is it okay? Because the foot of his chair was on my notepad. And I was like, oh, is it okay if I can pull it out? Like, can you just lift your chair a little bit so I can pull it out? He was like, yeah, sure. And then he lifted his chair and I pulled it out. And then he literally turned to one of our colleagues beside me. I was like, oh my God, so aggressive. I was just like, what the bloody hell?
Oh my God.
And you know, in those kind of environments, you're already very tone conscious already.
Oh,
so I was just like I was so, you know, where it's like, literally, I was just like, okay.
It's one of those.
Moving swiftly on. Yeah, I didn't say anything because I was just like, oh, I really try my best to be nice there, but it's okay.
It's the burden, I suppose, of the Black woman in work. Because I'm like, if that was a Black man, would you have the same reaction? No, you'd be like, oh my God, he's so cool. High five. Like,
you'd have probably turned around and like made a joke with him, just be like, but it's just like, yeah. I mean, it is what it is, such as life. Someone actually wrote me, and the reason why I asked you about the perfection, and then I actually want to get your answer on not taking clients being nasty to you personally, because that's a whole nother thing. The person asked, striving for perfection. She was like, it was a good thing when we were younger, but does it harm us now as adults?
I mean, yeah, I guess the short answer is definitely yes. I think even striving for perfection, like what even is perfection? What
That's the thing.
What is it? What is it? And I guess it's different for each person, but there really isn't anything. There is no such thing as perfection because what we would see on other people as what we would think, oh my God, they're perfect. They've done it. They're probably in their head thinking, damn, I have so much to do. There's no such thing as perfection. And I think even within, for example, like the working world, especially for Black women, I'm like, girls, Black women, honestly, especially during this time, like when everyone starts going back to work, this is your moment. Relax, really enjoy it, because with all this Black Lives Matter thing,
it's true.
Honestly, like lean into this bit and enjoy it because people don't want to offend you. So really use this time to rest.
So true. Like, you know what's so funny? Rest. The workplace is not going to be different. It's not going to be the same when we go back. Because I felt like before in the workplace, a colleague could disrespect a Black colleague and no one will say anything, even though they think it might be wrong. They won't say anything because it's race related or whatever. Whereas now I feel like more people will be like, actually, don't speak to her like that. So I feel it's going to be different. One has to cross their fingers and hope that people will still keep the same energy, but it's going to be very clear after this lockdown, when we go back into normal life, whenever that might be, whatever normal life might be. It's going to be very clear, the people who learned and the people who didn't. And the people who didn't, it's because you chose not to.
Yeah.
It's because you chose not to. Like, there was just no way out of it. There was just no way
out of it. I honestly love it. I think it's the best. I'm like, Black people, just really embrace this moment. But yeah, I think with perfection, I think it's, I guess at the beginning, it can propel you, and that can be good. And it can propel you to new heights because you think, okay, do you know what? I really want to make this work. I really want to learn. I really want to hone my craft. But I think instead of seeing it as perfection, I would say, think of it as, I want to get better at something, not I want to become perfect at something, because I just, we're not Jesus. Yeah. Jesus is the only person that's perfect. He's the only person that's come down in human form that is perfect. Yeah. The rest of us, honestly, can only just hope and I can work towards that. But we are human and we will sin. And that's fine, because that's why Jesus died for us. Yeah. I think we just need to work on doing things better. And I think for me, there was a period where I was working hard, but not smart. And I think that's another thing, that kind of, you feel like, okay, in order to, I guess, achieve perfection, I'm going to work myself till I die almost. Yeah. And because you're Nigerian, so what else do we know how to do but work hard? Oh my God. What's it called? Work, and perfection thing that's instilled into us is so unhealthy, because what happens is that we work, and then we do the work, and then we don't know how to take a break. And I'm the queen of that. Yes, my therapist is literally like, can't you just take a break? Can't you just sit down and read a book? And I'll pick up a book, look at the front cover for 2 seconds, put it down, and try and do something that's work related. It has to be practical for me. It has to be practical for me. But why? And again, it's this whole like chasing perfection and chasing work. But I think it's like moments of relaxation. Even I feel like as a Nigerian child, you could be at home after like school, you'd be watching TV, and your parents would be like, this is why you're not doing well in maths, because see how you're stuck to the TV. Or just be like, you watch too much TV, that's why this. Like, it's almost like, but just give people room to just like be. Yeah, you have to rest. There's time for work, and there's time for play. Yeah, and there's time for rest in between that too. I think you need to, I guess in the 21st century, we need to learn how to work smarter, not harder, and not aim for perfection, but aim for just doing better than enhancement. Enhance yourself, not aim for perfection, because you'll be chasing something that it doesn't exist, to be honest. And I think like even within the influence industry, like there is no such thing as perfection. Like the industry is always changing. Like there was a time where it was very polished and everyone had like white and marble, and now it's anything goes, really. More or less, like it's very like now. I don't know if it's because of lockdown and everyone's at home. It's very cottage core. Everyone's at home gardening because we can't leave can't leave the country, can't leave the house. It's very much like very homely, very like self-carey. But it will change again. Like I don't know, give it another year, it will change. I don't know what it will be next. So there's no such thing as perfection, because everything is always constantly changing. The landscape will continuously change, and we just kind of have to change with it and go with the flow. But I feel like perfection is like, when we even say what is perfection, I feel like perfection isn't even something that's really that definable, because it doesn't exist. And as I feel like as a human being, it doesn't exist. So you can't define something that doesn't exist. You can't be a perfect human being. I actually think to be a perfect human being and have everybody like you means that you're inauthentic to me. Yeah, you're not a real person. When you are yourself, you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. Like, what's the saying that you can lie flat on the floor and let people walk all over you and people will still complain you're not flat enough? Like, there is just no such thing. So if I feel like if you're listening and you feel like you're struggling with perfection, being perfect, boss, mom, friend, it's kind of like, just stop for a second, take a deep breath, be the best version of you. But to be the best version of you means you have to know yourself. Yeah, you have to actually know who you are, and then you can be like, these are my strengths,
Let me work on it. These are my weaknesses. Let me be aware of it, work on it, and do my best. And give yourself grace. Sometimes you're still gonna make those mistakes. I think someone posted something today that I was like, where is the lie though? And it was, happy is best, sad is okay, and being angry happens. Because it does.
Yeah, that like life is not like, it's not going to be this one line of perfection or just ease. Like very unfortunately, there'll be like massive dips and there'll be highs as well. And we kind of just have to learn to just, I guess, ride the wave, whichever way it goes. And like there'll be days where I'm like this life is very long. God, come back and come and collect your children. And then some days I'm like, do you know what? This is okay. I'm happy. And it'll be something as small as me having a nice coffee that has just made my day because I'm like, it's started off well.
Simple pleasures.
Yeah. And it can be something as small as, I don't know, I forgot to attach something in an email that's made my whole day rubbish. But it's just not allowing yourself to kind of fall too like far off and not kind of be unrealistic in your expectations for yourself.
That's good. You give yourself grace, essentially.
Yeah. You're only human.
Yeah. How do you give yourself grace? In what areas of your life? Work, beauty, just mental health? What ways do you give yourself grace?
I think at the moment, with the whole COVID situation, I think for most people, I suppose, is working on mental health, because I feel like everyone has, across the board, like has kind of fallen off because this, I guess, and it's normal. We are literally in a pandemic and the second recession of our lifetimes.
Legit.
Everything is very up and down. Our jobs are at stake, our livelihoods. We are literally in an actual global health pandemic. It's still not really safe to go out, but we are still kind of making do. So just being very gentle with myself in terms of my mental health. Like there'll be days where I'm like, I wake up and I'm just like, I'm just sad, and I'm like, why have I got so sad?
You're just like, why am I sad?
I'm like, why am I sad? I'm gonna sit on my laptop and work, but I'm just like, I don't want to work like this. And I feel
you just
like
kind of want to crawl back into bed.
I'm like, this is not work. I don't want to crawl out of bed literally 5 minutes before my morning meeting. I haven't brushed my teeth and have to sit there. Like, I want to go out and, I want to like get dressed and leave the house and, feel like I'm doing something. And this whole pandemic has just ruined everything for me. Someone like me that loves stability, this is really bad. But I've just been really gentle with myself in terms of mental health. So I'm just like, the days where I need a break, I just take a break. And it's not even been days for me, it's been weeks. I'm just like, let me just take this break. Let me just rest a little bit. If I want to watch a stupid TV show in bed, I'll watch it. If I want to order a takeaway, I'll do it. Whatever kind of makes me feel a bit better. I'm just being I'm treating myself almost like I would like my favorite child, or not favorite child.
Your favorite child.
I have no favorites in the future. But like, when you just like, when you like, your child is not doing so well, like what would you do to your child? Like someone that you love and you really, like, how would you look after them? You would be gentle with them. You wouldn't shout at them. You would be like, just come on, get up and just, you be gentle. I hope I wouldn't be like that anyway. I would be gentle and I'd be caring and loving. So I think we have to all extend it to ourselves during this very unfortunate time. Yeah,
you're right. I would say the same, to be honest. I feel like there's some days where I'm just like, I am so exhausted. It feels like it doesn't matter how much I try, I feel like I'm not moving at all.
Yep.
And I feel like it's like in the second episode of the first season of Leia's podcast, Joyce was saying you need to pay attention to your low moods. Like you need to pay attention and know when it's happening, because it's like that saying that people say, you don't know you're gaining weight until you've gained weight.
Yeah.
And I feel like you don't know that you're sad, moody, or depressed until you're sad, moody, and depressed. Like it's almost like you can't spot the road signs, and then all of a sudden you're there and you're like, oh my gosh, I feel really sad today, or I feel really overwhelmed, or like, why am I not being as productive? I'm not being as productive because I'm really sad, and that's why I'm not being productive. That's why I'm being unproductive, and then I'm sad that I'm unproductive. It's just a vicious cycle.
It's a cycle. It's a horrible cycle. And you're like, how do I break this? And but like it's honestly trial and error in terms of because everything is different. So
Yeah.
it will be something that maybe worked before to try and break it by work. Like for
Yeah.
example, there are times where I'm like, do you know what? I can just do some worship and some
Yeah.
prayer, and it's God. And I'm like, I don't know if it's because of this COVID that I'm like, God, this worship that I'm worshiping and this gospel, even that is struggling to break it. So I need you to come down
Oh, I've sent
and
you
help.
message that I think it was Ray Beaven preached at the beginning of the year, and it was so not it was so not quote unquote timely then, but it was just this message of like he was saying people want to worship and worship and worship until they feel better. They want to pray until they feel better. They want to go to the gym and run until they feel better, shop until they feel better. And he's like, but now you're at a place where nothing is happening.
You're like, what?
He was like, how about you just sit down and surrender? I was like, I don't like that. I'm not doing that.
Why is it always surrender? I'm like, God, you know that your people are stubborn. They always want us to be throwing our hands up. I'm like, bruh. But it's true.
It's true. It's not easy. I feel like this period, I feel like every single person should give themselves credit for how resilient they've been. And even if you feel like this has been the worst few months of my life, I hate it. I feel like I'm at the point where I don't know if this helps anyone, but just give yourself credit that you've even made it this far. You've made it through all the hard stuff in your life. Like you're now at a place in your life where everything that's happened in your life that's been hard, you've made it through, and you're now
exactly, and you're still alive. I always say, like, do you know what I do? Actually, one thing that's really good. I go back to complete basics, and I'm like, okay, I woke up and I got out of bed. I clapped for myself. I had a shower.
Celebrate the small wins.
Yeah, I had food, which is something I tend to miss when I'm like stressed. I actually ate something. Clap for myself, and then you start to add it up and you're like, actually I'm doing okay, like slowly, and some days that's all you're gonna do, and that's fine. That's your perfectionism for that day. That's what you strive to do. That's what you can do. And other days I don't know, you almost do moon landing. That's how much you will do. Like you'll do amazing stuff. And I think it's human. Like I think sometimes we look at people like Beyonce and we're like, why can't I be like Beyonce? But that one might be, even that, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
That's true.
That she's working. I'm sure she has the days where she's like, God, I can't work anymore. I'm tired.
You know, she actually has this documentary on YouTube called The Year of 4. And she was like, I took a year off because I realized I didn't know how to take time off. She was like, I didn't know how to take time off. And for the first time in her life, she took one whole year off. And
good, she was like, wow. Queen.
Yeah, legit.
Always working.
Okay, so you've mentioned about your faith and about it's clear that that's an important part of your life. How does that help you in terms of how you view the world, how you see people, how you treat people, and also how you feel about yourself? Like, does it, like, I feel like sometimes there is like a worldview on Christianity, and that worldview is like, be perfect, be good, make sure that your God approves of you. And I think that sometimes people don't imagine or think of it in the sphere of like beauty and body issues and mental health and things like that. So before we sign off, give us some insight.
I think for me, what I guess the most important thing that I've learned along my Christian journey, because it will always be a journey, because I will never stop learning, is that above all, for me, it is, and I think for most people, it should be a relationship, and it's a relationship between me and God, and it's like a friendship, it's like a father-daughter relationship, it is like a teacher-student relationship, it's just a relationship, and I think above all, what I suppose, how I see the world is that all of this and all the world as it is a thing of beauty, and it is something to marvel at. But I'm always kind of a bit like, after all of this, there's still more. And so sometimes when I'm like, this life is so stressful, I'm just like, but okay, I'm going to actually take myself back, revel at the small beauties in the world. Like, the other day, I was in the garden and I was like, I had a long work day and I just looked up and I was like, my parents' apple tree is blooming. And I was just like, I'm in a world where God has created apple trees. And it felt so beautiful to me. Like, that we have apple trees. And I was like, this is so lovely and
That's so cute.
sweet.
Yeah.
And it was just like a reminder that like every small thing on this earth under God is so beautiful.
Yeah.
And for me, I guess that's kind of like shaped my worldview. So for me, like I'm very much like I see myself in the beauty, in the creativity and beauty of God, and that's how I kind of see
That's
things as
beautiful.
well. So like where God is like, okay, like this, look at this beautiful tree and this beautiful animal. I'm like, okay, how can I also like, I don't know, see the beauty in, I guess like sometimes like it's gonna sound really silly, but like just taking pictures of stuff or drawing or
Mm,
even in
an
myself, which
expression.
it sounds mad. Yeah, I'm just like, how can I see the beauty? Like, even if it's written, like sometimes I'm like, I wrote something about being a black woman and
Mm,
just talking about my body. Like, I've written something actually that needs to go live on how my body has changed over the years
mm,
and how in all of it, it's still like this vessel that God has created, and is lovingly created.
mm.
It's almost like
That's good.
I guess, yeah, I guess my faith kind of allows me to see things from a bird's eye view a little bit, as
Mm.
opposed to just being on the ground and seeing
Yeah.
things like face on. I'm kind
Yeah.
of like, okay, but what about the holistic view? What about the whole, like the wider view of everything?
Yeah.
And I guess like with everyone, like well, it should be, it's the thing that keeps me grounded because I'm like, there's so much more to life than me.
Yeah.
Like there's so much to life. It's when you start to sit down and think about it, it's actually incredible.
Yeah. It really is. I feel like I have like big windows in my bedroom, and sometimes I pull up the blinds in the morning and I just lay there for a second and I just like look at
Mm.
the clouds and how they're
Mm-hmm.
moving, how the sun is like bursting through them. And I just
Beautiful.
take it in for a second. And I remember one time this girl, I think it was even Esther, she was saying, she was like, what did she say? She was like, it was so funny. Well, it wasn't that funny actually, but she was just like, oh, like how beautiful like stars are and how like
Mm.
galaxies and Milky Ways and things. She's like, they're so beautiful. She was like, can you just imagine that the same God who created that created you?
Yeah.
I was just like, that's really cute. And then
Yeah.
there was a day I was lying down in bed, and it must have been one of those battle days where I was probably just feeling really like shit about how I looked and
Mm.
how my, like you said, as your body is changing. Like I've gone from like a size 6 to like a 10, like a 12 around my
Mm-hmm.
bum. It's just like, oh my gosh. Um, and just thinking about how one's body is changing and all these things. And then for a moment it was almost like I was like, okay, Tyra, but you do know, like, someone, sorry, I feel like I'm bouncing up and about, but there was someone saying that a person's favorite Bible verse tells you a lot about who they are. And mine is like
Mm.
Romans 12:2, like, don't conform to the ways of the world, but be transformed by renewing of your mind. And I was lying down in bed and I was thinking, beauty standards is such a worldly construct.
Yep.
Like, there is no single person on this planet that God looks at and says, I don't like the way you look.
No.
One arm, one eye, big, small, thin, short, so like whatever the case may be, there is literally not one person that God looks at and he's like, oh, I don't like the way you look.
I mean, it's actually a social construct.
It's such a social construct that I feel
Yeah.
like if it's a worldly social construct, it shouldn't have, but you live in the world, so you're going to get affected by it. So,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like, I am beautiful as is. You can
Yeah.
enhance, you can change, but as the base, the baseline, I'm good.
Yeah. And I think you're the only person that can actually genuinely like make you feel that. Like no one
Mm,
else, like no amount of someone else saying like, sorry, it's gonna sound so terrible, but for example, a man telling me, oh, you're so beautiful, that means absolutely nothing to me.
me too.
It means
Me
nothing
too,
because you just
actually.
say it's like a woman saying I'm pretty, I'm like, oh my god, but a man saying I'm beautiful.
Yeah,
It
me
means
too.
it means
I'm just
absolutely
like, so
nothing.
what's the difference? Like, how many girls, like, men look at you when you're wearing your face mask. Like, they can't even see your face
Mm-hmm.
and they're still trying to talk to you. So it's like,
Everything is beautiful to them, but but like it's only, and I guess it's not even just about outward beauty, but for all of us in general, like every
mm,
person, you have to like see like even the internal parts of you, like the behaviors of yourself that you don't like, you have to
mm,
work on stuff, and it's all of it all wraps together. It's what you are on the outside. It's what you are on the inside. It's how you feel about yourself. It's how you look at yourself. And after all, you just kind of have to accept yourself.
Yeah.
Because nobody will accept you.
Just start there. You need to accept yourself.
Accept yourself.
You need to accept yourself.
That's it. There's nothing else. You are you, and you are the only person that you have in this world.
Legit.
That's it. Like, you're the only person that will always be a constant.
Yeah.
In your own life.
You have to accept yourself. That is literally number one. And that's including the good and the bad. Don't just accept your good stuff. Accept and own your shitty parts too.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, everybody is a work in progress. Every single person.
We're all toxic, as Twitter would say.
Toxic, manifesting toxic, whatever it is.
Oh my God. If I hear manifesting one more time.
Manifest, toxic, problematic.
Toxic masculinity.
Oh my gosh, I can't take it one more day. I feel like I fight with people on Twitter now for stupid things. Like, I feel like for me, it's the self-righteousness of it all.
Everyone is perfect on Twitter.
Jeez,
everyone is so good. They know everything.
The most annoying things is like, why is nobody talking about the oil spill in Mauritius? It's like, because nobody knew. So how about you just say, hey guys, did you know that this is going on? Instead of trying to put yourself on some silly pedestal. It's so annoying. And then they're
like, they spoke so much about Black lives, but they didn't talk about Mauritius. And I'm like, what is wrong with you?
What is wrong with you?
Use anything to try and
just have a leg up on people. Make yourself. And the funny thing is, before they posted that, they probably just found out.
Exactly. You go to their page. So what have you been posting about Mauritius or Lebanon? Absolutely nothing. Nothing about Black lives either. Nothing.
Just chatting such rubbish all the time. Anyways, I feel like I actually even gave us extra time. I usually set a timer, but I gave us extra time because I felt our conversation was going well. But as we're coming to the end of this, what do you want the peoples to know?
I guess I want you all to know that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and you are loved beyond anything you can even imagine. Even on the days where you feel like ain't nobody gonna love me, God loves you. Even if your mama don't love you, your daddy don't love you, God, your Father in heaven loves you, and you are perfect the way you are. There's no such thing as perfection, but you are great the way you are.
Yeah.
And if you do want to change on your own accord for your own reasons and not for the world.
Yeah. I agree. Thank you, Sade.
Thank you.
Thank you for all the content and all the realness. Wishing you many more years of fighting racists as we.
No, my Twitter is still gone.
What?
Yeah, I had to deactivate because I mean, even a long story. I was like, maybe I should just deactivate for a little bit. I'll be back soon when I have time.
Like, perhaps I need to chill. It's like,
I was like, let me take a second, but I'll come back with a vengeance. Be back. Don't worry, October, I'm coming back.
Watch this space. Thank you, Sade.
Sure, thank you.